Hello children, continuing with the previous class in which we have discussed about atoms, molecules, elements and compounds. We have seen all the basic concepts. What is the meaning of atoms, what are molecules, what are elements and compounds. So we continue here with the two terms elements and compounds. As I have told you in my previous class that in the next class we are going to discuss more in detail what are the different types of elements, what are the different types of compounds. So let us start with first types of elements. So there are three types of elements: metals, non-metals and metalloids. Out of all the 118 elements, there are approximately 118 elements, and these elements have been properly in an organized way placed in the modern periodic table. I am sending you a picture of the modern periodic table along with this video. Go through it. So if you observe the modern periodic table, then there are nearly 118 elements, out of which 92 are naturally occurring, and above those atomic numbers, they are all man-made, means they are made in the laboratory. So out of these 118 elements, we can classify them as metals, non-metals and metalloids. Maximum elements which are there in the periodic table, they are all metals. So if you will see the green portion in the periodic table, those are all metals, and there are some elements which are shaded with pink color. The picture which I will be sending you in the of the modern periodic table, just let us have a look of that picture which I will be sending to you. So here I have the modern periodic table. Yes, this is the modern periodic table. So all these green elements which you can see, they are all metals. The pink ones, they are metalloids, and the yellow ones, here hydrogen is there, and all here which are shown in the yellow color boxes, they are all non-metals. So children, you can see that maximum over here are metals, some very few are metalloids, and remaining all are yellow, which are yellow boxes, they are all non-metals. So you have to remember some of the important metals, non-metals and metalloids. Metalloids, for example, boron is there, gallium, germanium is there, silicon is there. All these are example of metalloids. Some non-metals, let us see, chlorine is there, fluorine, bromine, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, etc. And then metals, calcium, sodium, iron, copper, nickel. These are some of the few examples of metals. So basically you should be able to identify which is a metal, which is a non-metal and which is a metalloid. So before we start with the chemistry of higher order, or we start the chemistry syllabus of class 9, you should know some very few basic concepts like what are metals, what are non-metals, what are metalloids, and then what are elements, what are compounds, atoms, molecules, and that is why we are going all through all these basic concepts. Okay, so metals, the physical chemical properties we will study further in the some of the chapters. Just now only if you are able to identify them, then that is quite fine. Okay, some groups of the periodic table you should learn, so that you easily identify which are metals and which are non-metals, and where are they positioned. So because many properties also depend on their positions in the periodic table. So I will be discussing you with the trick also in the next class, how to remember the elements in the periodic table. For now, today you will I will be sharing you 1 to 20 atomic numbers, the elements which are having atomic numbers 1 to 20. Their atomic numbers you will remember, their symbols you will remember, out of them which are metals, which are non-metals, and their electronic configuration. I think so electronic configuration, before this you have studied in class 7th as well as in class 8th. So that also you need to revise. So at least from the first 20 elements you should be very clear which of them are metals, which are non-metals, and which are metalloids. So types of elements are of 3 types: metals, non-metals and metalloids. Okay, let us come on to now compounds. Just like we had 3 types of elements, compounds are of 2 types. So there are basically two types of compounds. One are covalent compounds and the other one is ionic compounds. Okay. Now, when a compound is formed between 2 elements, which are, out of which one is a metal and the other is a non-metal, then we get an ionic compound. If the compound is formed between a metal and a non-metal, the compound is ionic compound. And if the compound is formed between non-metal and non-metal, it is a covalent compound. Okay, as the name suggests, covalent. Covalent means it is formed by collaboration, or it is formed by sharing between the elements. And here, as the name suggests, ionic compound, this compound is formed due to formation of ions. So for that, another term, ions, you should know what are ions and how they are formed. So let us go one by one on each of these types. Let us take this type, that is here what is given as a second type, ionic compounds. Let us take what is an ionic compound, why it is formed only between a metal and a non-metal. So if we observe the metals, then their electronic configuration shows either 1, 2 or 3 electrons in the outermost shell, that is the valence shell. Metals have 1, 2 or 3 electrons in their outermost shell. Let us take a very simple example of sodium. Sodium, the atomic number is 11 and its electronic configuration is 281. Now children, what is the meaning of electronic configuration? Electronic configuration means the distribution of electrons in the shells. So here there are, sodium is utilizing 3 shells. In the first shell there are 2 electrons, second shell there are 8 electrons, and the third shell has 1 electron. So if we see the outermost shell of sodium, it is having 1 electron. And every element wants to become like a noble gas element. A noble gas element like helium, neon, argon, they have completely filled shells. So every element wants to become like the nearest noble gas element. So sodium will like to become just like neon. Neon, the number is 10, its electronic configuration is 2, 8. So if we see neon, its outermost shell is having 8 electrons. So sodium also wants to become like neon. So this configuration will change into this by removing one electron from the valence shell. So sodium will always have a tendency to give one electron to another element which can take it. Now let us see chlorine. Chlorine, the number is 17, means its configuration will be 287. Means chlorine will become just like argon. It will have a tendency to become just like argon. Argon number is 18, the configuration is 288. So how will chlorine become like argon? It has a tendency to take one electron. This is having a tendency to lose one electron, and this is having a tendency to gain one electron. This is not the charge, don't get confused with. No, this will lose one electron. Electron will go out, and this will take in electron. E minus is the symbol for electron. So if you see here, sodium has a tendency of losing one electron, chlorine is having a tendency of gaining one electron. Sodium is a metal, chlorine is a non-metal. So sodium has a tendency to lose electron, chlorine is having a tendency to gain electron. So if a reaction takes place between sodium and chlorine, sodium will give one electron to chlorine. On losing one electron, sodium will get one positive charge. Why will it get a positive charge? Because sodium will have 11 electrons, 11 protons before it loses. But when it loses one electron, its number of electron will decrease by 1. So now protons are 11, but electrons have become 10. Means the positive charge is 1 more on sodium. So that is why sodium will now become Na plus. And chlorine, as it is taking one electron, it becomes Cl minus. So the compound formed between sodium and chlorine, which is a metal and non-metal, is having charges or is having ions, and that is why it is an ionic compound. So ionic compound is always formed between metal and non-metal. Why only between metal and non-metal? Because metals have tendency to give electron and non-metal is having a tendency to take electron. And that is how an ionic compound is formed. In the case of covalent compound, we have just now seen that it is formed by reaction between non-metal and non-metal. So let us take the example of hydrogen and another is chlorine. Hydrogen is also a non-metal, chlorine is also a non-metal. So hydrogen configuration is 1 as its atomic number is 1, chlorine is 17. So 287. Now if you see from the electronic configuration, hydrogen just wants to become like helium. Helium, the number is 2. And chlorine wants to become like the noble gas argon. So its configuration is 288 and this configuration is 2. Now if we compare hydrogen and helium, hydrogen wants 1 electron to complete 2. If we see chlorine and argon, chlorine needs 1 electron to complete 8. So hydrogen also wants 1, chlorine also wants 1. So in this case, there is no one who can donate. In the case of sodium and chlorine, we saw sodium can donate, chlorine can accept. Here both want. Now if both are wanting, then who will give? So in this case, they have to share. Like suppose you have a pencil, your partner has a compass, and both want to make a perfect circle. So neither you alone can make a circle, neither your partner can make. But if you share your pencil with the compass of your partner, then both of you can make the circle. Now that combination of compass and pencil, it belongs to you also and your partner also. So this is what is called sharing. So hydrogen and chlorine will share 1 electron. Means 1 electron from hydrogen will be now of hydrogen also and of chlorine also. And this also 1 electron will be shared by chlorine, which will belong to hydrogen also and chlorine also. So if I represent it by dot and cross, let us show the only valence shell electron. Hydrogen has 1, chlorine has 7. So 6 and 1 7. So this electron of chlorine and this of hydrogen will now become a part of both. And in this way they will, chlorine has become 8 electrons in the outermost shell, hydrogen becomes 2 electrons in the outermost shell. And in this way both are becoming stable. And this is how a covalent compound is formed, by sharing of electrons. Ionic compound is formed by give and take. Ionic compound is formed between metals and non-metals. Covalent compound is formed between a non-metal and a non-metal. So these are the basic differences between ionic compound and a covalent compound. I hope so you have understood this concept. You go through the periodic table. It is very, very important. Identify which are metals, which are non-metals, which are metalloids. Identify the ionic compounds and covalent compounds you have come across. In 7th you have come across some compounds. You have come across some compounds in class 8 also. So you just recollect. I will be giving you more practice how to identify, and you just go through, memorize, try to recollect your memory which compounds you had come across, and will you put it into the category of covalent compound or will you put it into ionic compound. Also try to recollect which elements you have come across. Try to explore the periodic table, come with new names and see which is it, a metal, a non-metal. Okay. In the next class, the structure of the atom also little bit we'll go through. What is an atom, what it is made up of, and then periodic table, how will you learn some of the groups. We'll start with to learn the periodic table, and then I will also be sending you the first 20 elements, their electronic configuration, which are metals in them, which are non-metals.